the number 6 seed. In the East, the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame, our 5th seed team out of the ACC, and they'll take on the winner of the first 4 game in Dayton on Wednesday between the Michigan Wolverines, and Michigan will be taking on the Golden Hurricane of Tulsa.
To Jackson, alley-oop, foot sack, and we've got a sack attack alert!
Hello again, Irish fans, and welcome to this week's edition of Inside Notre Dame Basketball with head coach Mike Brey. I'm Jack Nolan, and coach, at the top of the show, we saw the smiles of your players when they saw their name pop up on the screen. Another invitation to the big dance, the 11th that you have earned since you started coaching here 16 seasons ago.
Jack, this never gets old, and let's not ever take an NCAA tournament bid for granted because it's hard to get in, but we are thrilled. That's quite an honor to earn a 6th seed.
Pretty good week, too. Tough loss against North Carolina that knocked you out of the ACC tournament, but before that, 2 more wins over some of the Tobacco Road loyalty. In the last 2 seasons, you are now 12-2 against ACC teams from North Carolina.
Well, there's no question we needed a bounce-back win before we went to D.C. in the ACC tournament. I loved how we played against NC State. We were flowing offensively. We were playing faster. Our Duke win is one of the great wins in the history of our program to come back. Tough one against maybe the best team in the NCAA tournament against North Carolina.
So we have lots of highlights to show you this week. We'll start when we come back with all the highlights of the Senior Day victory over NC State. Plus, also coming up on the show.
Coming up on Inside Notre Dame Basketball.
What can you say about Zach August? I think the best playing big man in the country right now. To see his growth over 4 years is something you're extremely proud of.
Smith lane right side, August up top, Beecham, three-pointer on the way. Got it! It's Jackson around the screen from August. Bounce past August. Sack attack! Notre Dame leads 62-61 on the two-handed jam by Zach August.
Inside Notre Dame Basketball with Mike Brey is presented by TireRack.com and brought to you by Team Notre Dame partners Sprint, Coke Zero, Under Armour, and Gatorade. Inside Notre Dame Basketball is also sponsored by Delta Airlines, proud to be the official airline of Notre Dame Athletics, Bank of America, Canon, Xfinity, Meyer, Notre Dame Federal Credit Union, SiriusXM Satellite Radio, and UPS.
Senior Day, always emotional, and this year you got to salute 2 of your captains, both of whom I know you're very proud of.
Very, very proud of both A.J. Burgett and Zach August. As you've heard me say many times, Jack, A.J. Burgett really has led and set a tone, even though he has not been part of the rotation. I have a lot of respect for the young man that he is, and he's a great ambassador for us. What can you say about Zach August? I think the best playing big man in the country right now. To see his growth over 4 years is something you're extremely proud of.
One senior manager, A.J. Meyer, and A.J. has really expanded the envelope of duties for managers.
He is unbelievable. He's our analytics guy. He's a little bit of everything, and you know what? He's going to be a heck of a young coach very soon.
Now, we touched on the NC State game in our first segment, but you really didn't have a lot of momentum, or maybe more importantly, offensive rhythm, and you'd lost 3 of the previous 4.
Yeah, we needed to find some offense back, and we practiced with a 20-second shot clock, Jack, because I thought we needed to change ends and get up and down the court.
Your first bucket of the game was a 3 by V.J. Beecham. You went on to hit 7 of 14 threes in the first half, led by freshman Matt Ryan, who hit 4 or 5.
It's always interesting on Senior Day how freshmen sometimes lead the way. Matt Ryan was flat out fabulous, and he had been trending that way for a while. Right now, he's playing very well for us.
And something that really helped you play faster was Matt Farrell came off the bench, 4 assists in the game, 3 in the first half.
One thing Matt Farrell we felt could do is he can push the ball. It's another ball handler other than Demetrius that can get down the floor and push it. He gave us great energy and found people.
Playing faster on offense, you might have played a little faster on defense. You had 5 steals in the first half and 11-0 edge in first half points off turnovers.
I thought we were very active. Our energy level was up, and maybe because we're getting the ball in quick and getting down the floor offensively, it changes our aggressiveness tone.
Still, you only led by 6 at halftime, in part because a guy named Cat Barber, the ACC's leading scorer, was having a great day. He had 29 in the game, 16 in the first half.
He is an amazing talent. Certainly a first-team all-league guy, but he's just hard to guard with his speed, he developed the jump shot this year, so it's kind of hard to deal with him.
But you did put Rex Pfluger on him, and against Rex, he only had one field goal.
I thought Rex Pfluger's minutes were key for us. One, on the defensive end against Barber, but then Rex hit big shots for us. He and Matt Ryan, our two freshmen, really set a great tone.
You touched on Demetrius. He didn't score in the first half, but he got his shot back in the second half. 14 points, including 10 points in the 12-2 run that put the game away.
You know, he came off the bench. I wanted to give him a little bit of a blow in the second half. I think he got a chance to observe the game, and then he came in like a house of fire and really kind of broke NC State's back and helped us get the win.
And very fittingly, a great day for Zach August on Senior Day. 24 points, 11 rebounds, his 18th double-double of the season.
You know, just so fitting that he would go out on a day like that. I am so pleased with how consistent he is. His energy and toughness has been contagious for the rest of his teammates.
So the Irish wrap up their regular season with their 11th conference win of the season, an 89-75 victory over NC State right on this floor. And even before the game ended, Coach Brey knew what the victory meant.
Really good, man, really good. Let's finish this thing. This gives us momentum into D.C., baby, right? Momentum into Washington, D.C.
Your team headed to Washington, D.C. for the ACC tournament, feeling really good about itself. You got your offensive rhythm back against NC State, and it showed. You shot just under 56% in the first half against Duke.
Yeah, I thought we were in a great offensive rhythm. Duke came out and played zone for the whole game. I thought we did a good job of moving the ball. Turned it over a little bit right before halftime, but overall, our guards did a good job attacking that zone.
Now, those turnovers led to a 13-0 run by Duke. Heading into the locker room at halftime, you were down 8. What was the mood like in the locker room then?
You know what? Our guys have been always poised, Jack, no matter what the score is. You know, this has been a very business-like group. We have come back from halftime deficits time and time again, and I think we were confident we could do it again.
Now, you've had Duke's number for a while now, and they played like it in the second half. They go up by 16 on 2 occasions, and it kind of felt like it just wasn't going to happen today. But this year's team in particular, when things look darkest is when oftentimes your team plays its best.
They really have come out of unbelievable holes many, many times where you're just doesn't look good. But I give a lot of credit to our defense. I thought our defense in the second half was flat out fabulous, and I think we wore them down a little bit. They were tired at the end. It was great to get to overtime because we had more energy.
And one of the reasons you got to overtime was VJ Beacham. Hit 3 huge threes in the final 7 minutes, including the one that tied it at 70 and sent it to OT.
Here was a young man a year ago. We were talking about not being able to keep up the momentum in March, and for him to deliver like that was great, and I'm excited moving forward with VJ's confidence.
I loved your emotion when the regulation buzzer sounded and you ran out to half court smiling and pumping your fist like you'd won the game, and I guess maybe because you'd won 11 or 10 of your previous 11 overtime games.
Well, and the other thing is, you know, when you're in a hole like that and you get it to overtime, that is psychologically a win, and I wanted our guys to be excited and feel like overtime was our time. And you're right, overtime around here, we've been pretty darn good.
Now, before we talk about the OT, we got to talk about the play of your big guys. Zach August, 19 points, a career high, 22 rebounds, second highest ever in an ACC tournament game, tying him with a guy some people may have heard of, Tim Duncan.
When you're mentioned with Tim Duncan, that says it all right there. Zach August in the postseason, I think his energy level, his effort, everything goes up. And talk about a guy setting a tone for us. I thought he got every rebound in that game.
Then to start the overtime, you basically run a play and get to the line in Steve Astoria.
And you know, that was great recognition by Zach, a senior, and Steve communicating and maybe catching Duke a little bit asleep. But to get a bucket like that, it almost counts more than 2 points because there's a psychological effect there.
So after Astoria's free throws, VJ hits another 3. You're up 5. You make your free throws down the stretch. Duke never really threatened an OT.
Yeah, it was just, you know, it was a methodical finish for us, making free throws, poised with the ball, taking care of the basketball. I was so proud of our group, but we really used a lot of energy to get that win.
5th victory over Duke in the last 6 meetings. So you headed to North Carolina confident, maybe a little tired, and it just wasn't your night.
No, and I think you have to give the credit to North Carolina, Jack. I thought they were flat out fabulous. I thought their defense in Washington, D.C. was at a whole nother level. We had a hard time making passes against their defense. Their big guys kind of beat us up on the backboard, and They exhausted us on both ends of the floor.
You know, with 6:12 left in the first half, it was 23-22 after an offensive rebound put back by Bonzi, but that's what I noticed. You won points in the paint here when you beat them when they were ranked number 1 in the coaches' poll in early February. You couldn't even get into the paint in this game.
It was really hard to get in there. Their post defense was great. And the other thing, it happened in the Duke game, it happened in the North Carolina game. Turnovers before halftime, we couldn't recover in this game.
So a tough 78-47 loss to the Tar Heels, the kind of game that you forget about, get home, and get ready for the NCAA tournament because you knew you were in the NCAA tournament. No real stress. We're going to show you how the Irish earned that lock of a bid right after this timeout. There are few better feelings for a college basketball team than to head into the month of March a lock for the NCAA tournament. And that's exactly what Notre Dame did for the second straight season. They did it in part because of 3 huge wins. Their first ever program win at Duke, another victory over a number 1 ranked team when they beat Carolina here in early February, and another win over 13th ranked Louisville. Here's an inside look at all 3 of those victories.
When we get out with this group and the floor is spread, you have a hard time dealing with us. Well, let's get out there.
Jackson left side of the lane, follow away jumper, good, rainbow swish! Throws it to August in the lane. August powers his way to the hoop, puts it up and in, and he gets fouled. 5 on the shot clock. Vastoria gets it on over to Colson. Colson for 3. Got it! He fakes. Up top now, Colson, another 3 on the way. Another 3 is good! In the corner, Jackson, he fakes, he attacks. Up top now, Vastoria for 3. Got it! Pfluger with 2 on the shot clock, the 3 on the way. He knocks it down! Rex Pfluger! It's over! History is made here! For the first time in 8 tries, Notre Dame has beaten Duke on this floor.
What a great day for us, and we got it against a hell of a team in the toughest atmosphere in college basketball.
So a win tonight will go down as an upset of number 1.
Transition Devo's a key guy. Yes, sir. We cannot let up there. We haven't even played well. We're down high, right?
Pfluger up top now, Colson. He goes right side of the lane. Another double bump is off the rim and in, and he gets fouled. Bonzi Colson.
Jackson, Demetrius goes over Justin and somehow batted it back up and through the basket, and Notre Dame fighting, scratching, and clawing, and they're only down 6.
Knocked over, no foul, shot was short. Notre Dame with the rebound, Beecham for 3, got it! We're tied again at 53. Hits a cutting Vastoria, who while falling down, lays it up and in, and he gets fouled! Jackson puts it on the floor, spins, fall away, jumper, good! 80-76, 10.3 seconds left. Berry almost kicked it, picks it up, drives right side, throws up a runner that's no good. Rebound August! It's going to go to the line. Notre Dame by 4 over the top-ranked team in the country. Rebound battle for August, knocks it away and takes it away. And that will do it. Number 1 goes down at Notre Dame again. Notre Dame 80, top-ranked Carolina 76. Wow!
When the lights are bright and the stage is big, the freaking Irish deliver.
This is just a rivalry that has really taken off.
Our defense has to be the story. Our defense has to be the story, and that goes for our rebounding. That's how we finish it, all right? 1, 2, 3.
Vastoria puts it on the floor. Vastoria drives the lane. Vastoria reverse layup. Good! 1-point game.
Big possession for Louisville.
Mitchell drives right side. Step back jumper blocked by Beecham. Colson gets the rebound. Jackson around the screen from August. Bounce past August. Sack attack! Notre Dame leads 62-61 on the two-handed jam by Zach August.
Denying Trey Lewis. Blocked by Colson.
Off to Jackson now. Ahead to Beecham. Beecham running 3. Got it! Snyder top of the key. Snyder left side of the lane. Gets to the hoop. Blocked by Zach August. Rick Pitino will go to 0-5 as Louisville's coach in Purcell Pavilion. How sweet it is.
We have been so good and developed into such assassins and cruel competitors when it comes time to come down and really beat us. It's a great trait to have as we get into March, okay?
It has already been another very memorable year. What stands out the most to you about those 3 big regular season wins?
2 things come to mind in those 3 wins, Jack. Outstanding leadership by Demetrius, Zach, Steve, and AJ, and our mental and physical toughness. We have a great grit about us that kicks in at a key time, and it did those 3 days.
The games were a joy to watch. They were indeed a joy to call. Our final Ask Coach Brey question of the season is coming up next. It's time now for this week's Ask Coach Brey question presented by the experts at TireRack.com. This week's question comes from Stephanie, who lives in Granger, Indiana. Coach, what has surprised you most about this year's team so far?
The leadership. My biggest worry going into this season was how do we replace the leadership of Jaron Grant and Pat Connaughton? And I am so proud and thrilled of what Demetrius Jackson, Zach August, Steve Vastoria, and AJ Brey have done in that department.
Following ankle surgery in March, it was decided that freshman Elijah Burns would sit out this season so that he can be at full strength when he takes the floor for a college basketball game for the first time. Elijah has learned a lot on the practice floor when healthy. He's also learned a lot watching his teammates play in games and in practice and being around them in the locker room. He certainly learned enough that he can now handle the final Inside Notre Dame Basketball Fast Break of the season. Favorite all-time movie?
All-time movie, probably Good Will Hunting.
First car you ever drove?
1988 Mercedes-Benz.
Favorite musical group or artist?
Drake right now.
Who is your role model?
My dad.
One thing the public would be surprised to learn about you.
I love bowling.
What did you do on your first date?
Went to the movies.
Favorite NBA player?
LeBron James.
Favorite part of practice?
The beginning.
Worst part of practice?
The end.
Best part of your game?
Rebounding.
Part of your game you need to work on?
Ball handling.
Favorite class you've taken at Notre Dame?
Hacking life with Carolyn Nordstrom.
One thing you always hear from Coach Brey in practice?
Be positive.
Assistant coach who is most like Coach Brey?
It's most like Inglesby.
Player on the team most like you?
Demetrius.
Best defender on the team?
Demetrius.
Best leaper on the team?
VJ.
Best dunker on the team?
Rex.
Worst dunker on the team?
It's Chad.
Best dresser on the team?
Me.
Worst dresser on the team?
Steve.
Freestyle swimming race, 1 lap. Who wins, you or Coach Brey?
Coach Brey.
Coach, what have you learned about Elijah this season?
His overall intelligence on and off the court and his overall maturity. He is not a typical freshman. He handles his academic business and his basketball business more like a junior or senior. He's had some tough luck with his injuries, but he has a very bright future in our program.
When we come back, we'll take a look at Notre Dame's first round matchup in the NCAA tournament. Everybody loves to talk about seeding. Are you happy with your 6th seed?
I'm thrilled by it. A 6th seed is a very solid seed. I'm very proud of our team to earn that.
Interesting, you get to watch the Michigan-Tulsa game in the first 4 and see who you're going to play in the late game Friday night.
I kind of like it because it makes us concentrate more on ourselves Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And then Wednesday night in New York as a staff, we will watch that game.
Coach, thank you for another great year here on Inside Notre Dame Basketball.
Thanks.
And folks, thank you for watching. We'll be back next season with the 17th season of Inside Notre Dame Basketball with Mike Brey. Until then, for Coach Brey, I'm Jack Nolan. Thanks so much for watching all year, and go Irish.
Inside Notre Dame Basketball with Mike Brey is presented by TireRack.com and brought to you by Team Notre Dame partners Sprint, Coke Zero, Under Armour, and Gatorade. Inside Notre Dame Basketball is also sponsored by Delta Airlines, proud to be the official airline of Notre Dame Athletics, Bank of America, Canon, Xfinity, Meyer, Notre Dame Federal Credit Union, SiriusXM Satellite Radio, and UPS.